Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Black Opinionated Woman, also known as a Bo. And so today I want to talk about women must have self agency. Now, for those of you who are still getting used to me on this channel, I typically talk about three things: either Black women, Black culture, or anything related to having being in middle age. That can include parenting. It can include career. It can include relationships, whatever. Okay. So Black women, Black culture, and middle age stuff. And so today I'm talking about women having self agency. So this is the thing. What do I mean by agency? I always tell people you must have the ability to fend for yourself, care for yourself. But I looked up the definition for agency, and so on Wikipedia, it says in social science, agency is defined as the capacity of individuals to act independently and to make their own free choices. One's agency is one's independent capability or ability to act on one's will. Okay. So why did I think about these things? I was having conversations with several people. I think about women who are going through things, and it always it's mind-boggling for me. How is it that you don't have agency in yourself? There are women out there who have no idea um, where where the money is, where are their assets. Oftentimes, what happens is let me just say this. Let me back up for a second. Um, I know women who are college educated and met their beau and stopped working. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you have an understanding. Like, there was a period of time where I was a stay-at-home mom. But this is my concern. You need to have agency. Now let me just let's go on to this first thing. Let me say. The first one is I said, you need to know your value. Now, oftentimes women equate, whether we say it or not, women will equate their value in terms of a man. So, like, if you think like, if you listen to what's out here right now, oftentimes they'll say, well, what is wrong with you? You're not married or you don't have any children. You have to remember, having agency in yourself, the ability to fend for yourself, does not depend on whether or not you end up with a man. It does not depend on whether or not you provide your significant other, your man, your boyfriend, whatever, with children. That's not having agency in yourself. That's not assigning value to yourself. Like, your value is based off of who you are, what you bring, not necessarily how many children, if you're married or whatever, because there's many valuable women out there. Where I'm going with this is, for women, whether you're married or not, whether you are in a relationship or not, you must have agency in yourself. Your value shouldn't be in just making your husband happy, taking care of your children. Like, those are important things. Like, I work hard to do those things for my husband and for my children. But I don't consider that to be like my sole value per se. Like, my value, there's other things. Okay? Like, because there's going to be a time when your children are not there. So then the question becomes, what about you? What have you done for self-preservation? There's a mental component here. There's a financial component here. There is a health component here, right? Can you take care of yourself? Can you fend for yourself? Now, why do I bring this up? I say you need to watch out for the midlife crisis. Now, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 45 years old. So I guess I just have a different opinion. I think about things in terms of, from the woman's standpoint, when she goes through crises, we start reevaluating things like, have I lost it? My husband doesn't want me anymore. I don't know, whatever. People go through stuff. I've been through stuff, right? And then what happens is you start seeking validation in places where you shouldn't be seeking that validation. Right. So now you're not even taking care of yourself. You're relying on other people to give you that mental boost. You're relying on other people to tell you how great you are instead of investing in yourself. Now, I will say this. You also need to be mindful of when men go through midlife crises. They oftentimes want either a new car or a younger model, and you know what I mean. So what happens when men go through this crisis, right? There are women when they stay home, they just stop everything. Now, when I say have agency in yourself, that does not necessarily mean get a job. All I say is make sure you can take care of yourself. Make sure, like, what happens if your husband, something should happen to your husband or your spouse or your significant other, or your partner? What are you going to do? Did you keep your skills up? Did you invest? And investing can be in mental, it can be in physical. Did you invest in your career? I don't know. So what I find is oftentimes women will give up everything because now they've secured a husband, but they didn't secure their own situation, whatever that means. Look, if you're sitting on a pile of money or something from an inheritance, then that's one thing. But then you got to make sure that you are capable, mentally capable of handling things should something happen. And what I am finding is there was back to the live stream. So I remember when I was playing tennis, there were several women I talked to who were going through a divorce, and they were with men who were affluent men. Okay. But when things went down, they didn't know where the money was. Things were hidden. There was a lot that happened. They had no agency in themselves. They didn't know how to take care of anything. They didn't know where anything was. They didn't know what they're going to do. Their skills were rusty if they had any at all. That's a scary place to be in. Oftentimes I think people think, not me, not me. We get complacent. It boggles my mind when women get into these situations and they don't have agency in themselves. So that doesn't mean go out and hard charge and get a career unless that works for your family unit. Okay. Everyone's different. But what I will say is you need to have the ability to take care of yourself should something happen, whether a divorce, heaven forbid, maybe, your significant other isn't capable of taking care of themselves. Maybe they pass away. I don't know. Then what? Do you know where everything is? How are you going to handle your finances? Okay. Are you mentally strong enough to do it? I think oftentimes women rise to the occasion. But I saw a lot of women go through this with their husbands. I saw way too many people. I've seen way too many women get into situations where they no longer had an income for 15, 20 years, whatever. Their husband worked and brought in all this money. But then also because they were in such a, I don't want to say inferior position. That's not the word I want to use. They were not in any sort of powerful position or position of influence per se. Then behind closed doors, the husbands was talking like stop. They were talking all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, why are they talking to you? Like, so it's like you can't engage too much because it's none of your business. But when people let these little nuggets out, I'm like, that's how he's talking to you. I don't want to get anybody's business. And then what happens is it's kind of like it becomes very definitely a shift in power. I hate to say it. So this is my thing. Everyone should always have a little backup account or something. I know there's a lot of people who are like, no, 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 everything should be. This is 2022. You should have a little backup account or something, or know that this is how you're going to take care of yourself should something happen. You cannot sit there and have no agency in yourself. Look at my hair. I got to do something with this bad. So you need to have agency in yourself. So when people say like, well, what made you go back to work? I'm like, I didn't like being told no. Not that my husband was in the business of telling me no, but I have 4 children. I wanted to make sure there was a variety of reasons. One, um, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't losing all of my skills. Okay. because if something should happen, I'm going to have to get back out there and do some things. Number two, I just don't think I was meant to be stay at home full time. That's just not who I am. It's not that I want to work. I just don't think I was a good stay at home mom. I was like, this is hard. Number three, contributing to our family financially and in that type of way for me, I felt a sense of pride. It's not that I didn't find pride in being home and contributing to the well being of my children, but I liked contributing. And it also takes the pressure off my husband. I mean, he had it under control, but it definitely helps when you're bringing in income. Okay. Number four, we needed generational wealth transfer for our children because we are Black people. You know, Black people in this country have very little to show for. We don't own as much. So, you know, we worked really hard to establish ourselves in multiple areas. And the list goes on and on and on, right? I just think the thing is, should something happen to my husband, I am capable, I am current, I am skilled, right? I don't have millions of dollars that I'm sitting on. You know, we'll do okay in retirement. But what I do know is, should something happen, what if my husband like dummied up and decided to like leave all of this? Um, I know that I can take care of myself and take care of my children. I don't have to worry where our next meal is coming from. I don't have to worry about, can I put a roof over my head? I just find it odd that women lack agency in themselves. Many of them don't know where the finances, like what's going on with the finances. They might take care of some of the bills, but they don't really understand what's going on with their finances. What is their plan? I I am not knocking stay-at-home moms. I wanted to make this clear because I've been on both sides of the coin. I'm saying women should have agency in themselves. So you want to make sure that you can take care of yourself. You can have bajillions of dollars. But if what if your spouse decides to leave you? You want to make sure that you know how to handle the finances and that you are in you're doing things to make sure you put yourself in a mental state that's healthy. You want to be able, if you have children, to show your children like, okay, this is how you handle adversity. You are allowed to be upset, you're allowed to cry, but you also have the responsibility of picking yourself up and moving forward. I've seen many women, they they completely lose who they are. All of their value is placed in their children and then their husbands. And then when the children are leaving the nest, they don't know who they are, what they want to do, they don't know what their interests are. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's my washing machine just doing too much right now. I'm like, what is going on in there? But anyway, that's it. I believe women need to have agency in themselves. So if you are a stay at home mom, just have some sort of plan, have some sort of skill. It doesn't have to be like bringing in millions of dollars, but you want to know that if you had to get out there and do something in the event that you're not sitting on, you know, an inheritance, you want to know that you can do it, or at least fake it till you make it. I mean, I've had imposter syndrome several times in my life. I've always had to just fake it until I can make it, right? Because I work in a career field that is dominated by men who don't look like me. I just find it interesting right now. We're going to 2022. I'm a Gen Xer, so this is when you start having, we're in this age where people start having these midlife crises. People are tired. People want to quit their jobs. People want an adventure, right? People want a younger model, whether it's of a car, of a significant other, another house. I don't know. What I'm saying is, this is what happens right around this point in time. And women need to have agency in themselves. I'm finding that a lot of them have no agency in themselves. So, look, before I get off of this, I just want to point out that it is all right for you to go ahead and subscribe. You could just go on ahead and subscribe. Um, yeah, I'm committed to making content, so you should just go ahead and commit to me too. Okay. But other than that, I would be curious to see what people thought about this whole agency conversation. I didn't want to make it too dark. I didn't want to tell all the stories of the things that's happened to people. But I think I made my point. We need to have agency in ourselves. Have a little backup account or something, for a rainy day. You never know. For those of you who are in, situations where you're getting bodied up, because I don't know what I can say on this, you want to have a little something put aside. I don't know how you do it. There's all kinds of material out there for how you can put money away, but I don't want to get into that. It's not that I think significant others are bad people. Not at all. But we are all, we all come from the human condition. So just like how they say you should have a prenup or whatever like that, if you have like bajillions and stuff, I just say have agency in yourself. Have a plan, have a skill set, put money away. Okay? Know how your finances are handled. There's so many women now. I'm telling you, like I see some of these relationships and the way the men make these snarky comments about I don't know what she does and this, that, and the other. Well, I make the decisions anyway because I bring in the money and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of like, you need to have agency in yourself. All right. And yes, let me just say for the record, my husband does make more than me. Trying to catch up, but I'm not trying to compete with him either, but I do have agency in myself. All right. So, okay, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'd love to hear from everyone. Come on back again, my bows and bow ties. I'm trying to drop new content as often as possible. Black opinionated woman out.